Fantastic. You've got pole.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Devlin.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours.
It's always good to qualify at the front, isn't it? You didn't practice much this weekend. Are you saving your car for the race?
Appreciate your time.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's one of the fastest races of the season here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 60% of this 2.7-mile circuit taken at full throttle. There are 14 corners to navigate, the very last of which has its very own infamous history. It could be the cause of a safety car today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Devlin lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Raikkonen, Norris, Ricciardo, Vettel and Charles Leclerc, Stroll, Russell, Christian Lundgaard and Latifi, Tsunoda, Mazepin, Antonio Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. We're leading our teammate by 3.2 seconds. This is your final lap of the race. Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win.
A truly magnificent drive then, and a great performance from the entire team to secure. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today. Devlin takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How are you feeling after that win? First in the championship. How does that feel? What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend? How do you feel seeing your teammate up on the podium? Appreciate your time.
OK, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
How do you feel the competition is for you this season? Do you feel that you don't need to practice?
Appreciate your time.
Welcome along then to France, host of the world-famous Tour de France. But we're not talking 2 wheels today, we're talking 4, in a country widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing back in the late 1800s. We've come a long way since then, and you're about to find out how far. It's time for the French Grand Prix. Mastering a lap of Paul Ricard means getting to know 15 corners, 6 left and 9 right, for an overall lap distance of 3.6 miles. The 2 halves of the long Mistral Straight are separated by a heavy braking zone into a potential overtaking hotspot at the Chicane Nord. And watch out for the drivers running onto the distinctive coloured stripes, which are low in grip and highly abrasive. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Devlin lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Norris, Vettel, Sainz and Kimi Raikkonen, Stroll, Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Russell, Lundgaard, Tsunoda, Antonio Giovinazzi and Nikita Mazepin, Latifi and Mick Schumacher. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish. DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. The fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. This is your final lap of the race. Superb driving. That's the race win.
We've witnessed witnessed some great battles around Paul Ricard today, and they've taken a fantastic win. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. Devlin increases their championship lead. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How good does it feel to have both cars in your team take the top spots?
Things looked close between you and your rival for a bit, but you came out on top, didn't you?
Your teammate had a great race today and was rewarded with a podium. Do you have any comments on the performance? Appreciate your time.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Excellent lap. We're really pleased.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Devlin, Bottas and Carlos Sainz. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be...
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours.
Who would you say is your biggest rival at the moment?
How does the poor weather change your strategy going into the race? How do you feel about this team's performance this season? Great. Well, that's everything.
So, unfortunately, we've picked up some grid penalties, and we'll be starting further back than you expect. As for how bad it is, that'll depend on what the other drivers get.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Devlin. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Vettel, Norris, Verstappen, Raikkonen and Lance Stroll. Devlin, they've taken a grid penalty. Gasly, Esteban Ocon and Russell, Lundgaard, Tsunoda, Nicholas Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. Mick Schumacher and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. on him. He might make a mistake.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
The track is clear. Green flag. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So Mercedes have won it. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. After today's performance, Valtteri Bottas secures the championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick? Well,
Well, things didn't really go your way today. Let's have your take. You've been overtaken in the championship. Are you feeling the pressure? How do you feel these grid penalties are affecting the sport? Is there a hint of jealousy in seeing your teammate up there on the podium? Or are you happy for them? Your teammate is up on the podium today. This is a great thing for the team, isn't it? Great. Well, that's everything.
OK, we've had the new parts come through the fabrication process. We'll have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
Fantastic. You've got pole.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Devlin, Bottas, and Max.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. How do you feel this season is going for you? Is the car competitive? You didn't practice much this weekend. Are you saving your car for the race? Appreciate your time.
Well done. Very solid result. You're looking good for the race.
We return once again then to the home of British motorsport and the birthplace of the Formula One World Championship. It's race day here at Silverstone and it's time for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit in Great Britain is hallowed ground to the Formula One faithful. We have 18 corners that wrap around this former World War II airbase and some good passing opportunities at the end of the DRS zones. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Devlin lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Ricciardo, Norris, Sainz, Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen, Gasly, Ocon, George Russell and Lundgaard, Tsunoda, Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher. Mazepin and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, this is the team's home race. We're all relying on you to impress today. That was the fastest lap of the race so far. Teammate behind is 8.5 seconds. This is your final lap of the race. That's a race win. You've really been great today.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Lance Stroll, sir.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Your team secured the top 2 positions. Is it safe to say you're a winning combination?
You performed better than last weekend. What changed?
A podium finish for your teammate. Will you be celebrating with them tonight? You had a close battle today, didn't you?
Great. Well, that's everything.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.